All right, so 820 part 5. So you're looking down in the radiator, and it's a lot lower than it was last time I checked, and it also looks kind of cruddy in there. Pretty much one of the things I will have to do, let me get down off my perch here, now that I've showed you that. One of the things that I will have to do pretty quick here is replace the water pump. And the reason I say that is because I currently have, a pretty big leak. I don't know if you can see all that water on the floor. I now have a jug catching all the dripping. But you can see the water pump, and I've shown you before how that's loose. Definitely needs to be fixed sooner rather than later. I was hoping to run this tractor a little while to identify anything else I needed before, like if I needed a new radiator core or something like that, but I don't think that's going to work, so it's got to come out. And I know Deere does not sell their water pumps anymore, so I will have to source a pump elsewhere, so probably on eBay or Steiner or something like that. Not all that big of a deal. I really enjoy my relationship with a Deere dealer because and this is just unsolicited advice, if you have a decent relationship with the parts guys, they are a lot more willing to help you out and find those really random parts. At least when I do lawn and garden stuff, that's what I found in the past. Plus, you can actually get a little bit of a discount depending on what you're buying. So, or at least I have in the past, and like it's strictly depending on what I'm buying. Obviously, on the random parts, that's not going to work. But if you're buying bulk of something, you can probably get a little bit better price if you have a really good working relationship with the dealer. Now, also volume has to come in there. I buy quite a bit from the dealer. But anyway, so I need a new water pump. And then also, in conjunction with the water pump, I will need, I'm going to go ahead and explore if I need, I'm going to try to, I mentioned this, I'm going to try to figure out if I need to recore the radiator. It doesn't look like it. I can see all the way through it, so it's not too dirty. It is just kind of crusty. And so I'm just worried that there's crud in there, and that crud is what's blocking my thermostats from working. So something that I will have to deal with. Also, let me walk over to the other side of the tractor here. Something that came about today as I was starting it after it sat here for a couple days. Now I've had this tractor all for about a week, so I've put a bunch of hours on it. But if you can't see that, there's oil on the exhaust of the pony motor. So that concerns me quite a bit. The pony motor seems to have plenty of power to turn the big engine over. Today, when I cranked it up for the first time after I changed the oil, I had to turn the engine over without compression for a decent while to get the oil pressure that I wanted. So I will have to pay really close attention to that and see if that's not a symptom of something else. I may go ahead. I really don't want to rebuild the pony motor anytime soon. Obviously, I don't have to because it's doing a fine job cranking the main engine over. But, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. So that is definitely a concern of mine moving forward. And then also, I will have to, as we move back on the tractor, I will need to change the power steering fluid and the hydraulic fluid. But I can't do that until I get a manual. Also, let me see if I have to break this up. I'll have to go set this down, and then I'll meet you at the rear PTO. So we're back to crappy lighting again. So this is the rear PTO right here, plus the power troll. Something I did not realize when I bought the tractor, in fact I still don't know a whole lot about it, is the fact that this is a dual power troll valve, so I have dual hydraulics. Now, I don't know how they work. So, but evidently it's a pretty desirable option. So between the rear PTO and then the dual hydraulics, I know that this is not original breakaway coupler, but it does have dual hydraulics. I do have a Power Troll service manual, and it looks like that is the dual hydraulic housing as well. So that is something I was pretty excited about. I just got to figure out how it works. So yeah, don't ask me, but I'll figure it out eventually. So anyway, back to the rear PTO. That's the rear PTO right there. I need to replace the gear lube in it. I don't know what weight it requires, so I'll have to wait for my service manual for that. It honestly does not look like this PTO was ever used much, which makes me pretty excited, unless they repainted it when they repainted the tractor and it just hasn't been used since then. But I would really like to use the tractor to do some type of PTO work. I don't know what yet, but I would definitely like to, do some type of PTO work with it. 67, I think it's, well, what, 59 horsepower, 62 horsepower at the PTO. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do know the PTO works. I did try it when I bought it, so it does work. But anyway, I'll show you what's in there. Let me climb up here. Try not to kill myself. So this is, let me check it. See if you can see down in there. Probably not. But anyway, it doesn't look all that great as you look down in there. So I'd really like to get the gear oil changed in the PTO pretty quick. So that's something else I need to do. Also, I'm going to start working on the electrical system. I got to start testing stuff to see where I have power to. I have all the lights. All the lights are still on the tractor, including the rear light with the red bulb in it. I don't know if you can see that, but I would like to get those working. Obviously the back one here, hold on. Obviously the back one here is not working because those are wires hanging out. So I will definitely have to fix that before I go too much farther. That's one of the things I'm going to have to work on. I will have to work on the seat suspension. I just watched one lonely farmer replace his float ride seat. Is that the correct term? I did watch one lonely farmer replace those 2 bushings in there, so hopefully I can do it in about double the time that he did, based on my experience. But anyway, so that's kind of everything that I'm up to so far. One thing, and I don't know if anybody's caught it yet or not, I caught it when I was looking at stuff. This is not the original routing for the fuel line. I guess somebody at some point in time got really tired of it running through this clutch area right here. You can see my finger down there, and they just routed around it. So now if I belt this up to anything, I will need to move that, because if the belt flies off and hits that, then obviously that's not very good. So I probably will need to do something with that if I belt it up on anything. So I think that pretty much covers it. So this will be part 5. Part 6 will probably be later next week when I probably do the power steering fluid first, and then maybe next weekend I will replace the gasket behind the fuel system, and that way I can bleed everything correctly. And then I can really start working in the nitty-gritty, and once I get the manual, I can start testing pressures, stuff like that, testing oil pressures, injectors, fuel system pressures, etc., etc. Before I take this somewhere, I want it to be running top notch, so I don't have to worry about it breaking down or anything. We don't want anybody pointing and laughing at a broken down John Deere, particularly if they're a red tractor fan. So anyway, thanks for watching.